Alright, by popular demand, here is my mom's Lebanese beef and green beans, which I had for dinner last night and again for lunch today because it's just so good. So we're going to start by toasting our spices. I've got cumin seeds and coriander seeds, which I then whiz up in a coffee grinder or spice grinder. If you want to use pre-ground spices though, that's totally fine, I promise. Now we're going to get some good old beef stew meat, seasoned with salt, pepper, cinnamon, plus your other spices. Drizzle it all with olive oil. And I've been preheating a pot over medium heat because we want to get that soothing, non-threatening sizzle that we love so much. Look at that beautiful brown crust. That's what you want. Now time to use those knife skills. Chop up an onion, add that to the pot along with some garlic. Pour in a can of tomato sauce and then refill the can with either water or beef stock. Add that in, plus a cinnamon stick. And after about an hour, the beef is going to start to get tender and your kitchen is going to smell freaking amazing. Nestle in some green beans and 20 minutes later, we are done. Serve it with some buttery, toasty vermicelli rice, which is the recipe in my last video.
If you haven't tried grilled queso fresco, let me show you. Spray some olive or avocado oil into a pan. Cut your queso fresco into thick slices. Leave it for about 5 minutes before you flip or once brown, and then enjoy. You can have this with your favorite sugar-free marinara.
All right, let's get some dinner started. I got some potatoes here. I'm gonna slice them about just like so, probably about a 1/4 inch thick. So we're gonna season it with salt, pepper, garlic. And I got a ribeye here, bone in. I'm gonna season this with meat so horny. Rub your chub just like so. Want to get it on all sides, even the fat side. All right, well, then we got some Italian sausages. These are mild. We're gonna wrap these in bacon, put them on skewers, just like so. Make sure you get all the bacon, that way it doesn't fall apart. All right, now we're gonna start with our charcoal here. We're gonna start searing our potatoes first. I wanna say about a minute aside. Once you get them nice, you're gonna move in direct. Now the ribeye and the sausages, we're gonna start searing 1 minute per side until they reach 125 for the ribeye and 165 for the sausages. Check out the ribeye, looking really nice. Also the sausages look perfect. I want to build just these little tacos with some tomatoes and some jalapeno.
Hey guys, Mama G here, and tonight I'm making a garlic butter chicken. I've never tried this recipe, but I've heard a lot about it. I'm going to preheat my oven to 375, and I'm pre-seasoning my chicken with salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and some dried rosemary. All right, I've got about 2 sticks of butter here. I'm going to melt that down, and I'm going to add, let's say 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. Now I'm gonna add a little dried rosemary. Gonna stir it up with this Halloween spatula. I love this, from William & Sonoma. And you're just gonna cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes. All right, now we just pour our butter garlic mixture right on top. We just pop it in for 30 to 32 minutes. And at the end, we sprinkle it with some Parmesan cheese and just let that melt. The smell of rosemary and garlic is insane. I'm just gonna top it with a little bit of Parmesan. This butter chicken is great. You've got to try it. So easy.
So since it's now soup season, here come all my soup recipes. So we're going to make taco soup tonight. So I brown 1 pound of ground beef and then drain off the grease. Put it back in your pot, and you're going to add 2 packets of taco seasoning mix, 1 packet of ranch dressing mix, and then 16 ounces of corn. You're going to add pinto beans. You're going to add rotel tomatoes, light red kidney beans, and then rinse your black beans before you add them in. You're going to also add diced tomatoes, and there's the black beans. And then you're going to mix all this up, and it's now a stew. So to make it a soup, or a little bit more soup-like, we're going to add some tomato juice just to make it a little thinner. And then we're going to let that come to a boil and let it simmer for about 20 minutes. And this is how you'll know it's ready. When it's good and hot, put it in your bowl, and you're going to top with sharp cheddar cheese, and then crinkle up some Doritos. Don't skip on the Doritos. And then add sour cream, and it's delicious.
This stack of pancakes is made with only 2 ingredients. These are the healthiest pancakes you'll ever eat, and they're super fun to make. 1 ripe banana. Mash it up. Really get your anger out. Make sure it's really nice and smooth. Crack in 2 eggs. Mix it all together. The secret ingredient is a dash of cinnamon. Get your pan. Spoon in batter. Flip. 2 ingredients. I serve mine with some butter and maple syrup, but this is totally optional. These are the easiest and healthiest pancakes you'll ever make.
I don't know about you guys, but to me there's just something about cold weather and crock pot meals. I'm going to show you one of my favorite things to make in the crock pot. I'm making pot roast. I finally got my hands on some Danos, and it is just as good as everyone says it is, and it's perfect for this. I think the key to a really good pot roast is searing your meat before you put it in the crock pot. I never used to do this, but now it's a step I would never miss. You could do whatever veggies you like. I'm going in with some green beans, celery, carrots, and radishes. Then I'm going to add some beef broth and red wine, mix that up, and add a little bit of butter and some more Danos. This is going in on high for 6 hours, and as you can see, it's falling right apart. Full recipe is going to be on Instagram, so make sure you check me out over there, and hit that follow button for more easy recipes.
Let's make some stuffed shells with cheese. First, you want to put your jumbo shells in a pot of hot, salted, boiling water. Then you want to take a pound of ground beef, 1 pound of mushrooms, 1 large onion, and saute it in a skillet. Add a half a jar of Barilla marinara sauce. Then guys, you want to take your filling and begin stuffing your shells. And once your shells are stuffed, then you want to cover them with a layer of cheddar cheese, for 25 minutes. Let's take it out.
Here's how to turn those leftover bread crusts into a dessert. First, you're going to cut one of the corners and you're going to roll it tightly into a spiral, then get a skewer to hold it together. By the way, I got this idea from Catherine McCord over at Willicious on Instagram. Now melt some butter into a pan and we're just going to toast this for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. And then you're going to dip them into a cinnamon sugar mixture, and there you have it, guys, a fun way to eat those leftover bread crusts. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will see you next time. Bye.
Grilled cheesy potato wedges. Let's start with some flap steak. You can use skirt or flank. I seasoned it up with an adobo seasoning and preheated some charcoal and got my Brio Outpost over the fire. Added the potatoes on, cooked them for about 5 minutes per side along with the flap steak. Pulled it off once the potatoes were tender and the flap steak was about 120 internal. Added the potatoes into a skillet, covered it in cheese and coals, sliced into that flap steak, sliced it against the grain. Added that to the cheesy potatoes, topped that with spicy mayo, a little pico, and some guacamole, and it was freaking delicious. Find the whole recipe on my Instagram and Facebook. Cheers.
All right, let's make this classic right here, Salisbury steak. I got 1 pound right here, 80-20 of ground beef. Go ahead and put some of that in there. You guys know what that's called. A little bit of mustard, a little bit of ketchup. Now salt and black pepper, homemade breadcrumbs right here, 1 egg. And give that a good mix and form them into patties like that. Try to get them into these oval shapes right here. Go ahead and put it down on some olive oil. I did them maybe for about 4 minutes on each side, just like that. Then remove them. Get 1 large onion in there. Go ahead and mix that up. Pick up all those brown bits. The mushrooms, I'm going to add a little bit more of olive oil. Some flour. Give that a good mix. I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of beef broth. About 1 tablespoon of Beefbourguignon, a couple more splashes of that. You guys know what that's called. Put the patties back in and let them go like this on medium-low heat for about 15 minutes until it thickens up just like that. Plate that beauty up just like that. Now take a bite out of this beauty and enjoy.
I'm gonna show you how to make my wing dinner with shrimp fried rice. So you gotta season your flour and your chicken. Then I'm gonna add some eggs in with some butter, and I'm gonna let that scramble up into little pieces. Then I'm gonna add my shrimp to the butter with a special sauce that I'll tell y'all about later. Once that's cooked, I'm gonna add some sesame oil, some garlic, and some ginger paste and let that simmer. I'll add in my frozen vegetables because I don't have time. I'll add some Frank's Red Hot to the egg mix. Go ahead and coat that chicken and put it in flour. Add my veggies to the rice. And then for the sauce mix, I do use brown sugar, sesame oil, white pepper, rice wine vinegar, oyster sauce, and soy sauce to mix that all up in there. Once that's mixed, I'll go ahead and fry my chicken and plate it up. And let me tell you, it was delicious.
We're gonna make a classic French recipe, beef bourguignon. Cut 6 slices of bacon and cook in a large heavy bottom pot. Once cooked, remove and set aside, reserving the fat. Chop 1 large onion, 1 large carrot, and 4 cloves of garlic. Using 3 pounds of 2-inch cubed beef, pat dry and season generously with salt and pepper. Sear all sides of the beef in the bacon fat, working in batches. Remove the meat and drain all but 1 tablespoon of the fat. Add in your vegetables and saute for 5 minutes. Add in your garlic and saute for 1 more minute. Add in 1 tablespoon tomato paste and 3 tablespoons of flour. Cook for 5 minutes until it deepens in color and then deglaze with an entire bottle of red wine. Add back in your beef and your bacon and simmer for half an hour or until it reduces by half. Add 4 cups of beef stock and 1 bundle of herbs. Cover loosely and bake in an oven at 325 for 2.5 hours. Meanwhile, saute half a pound of mushrooms in butter. Once your beef is done, remove from the oven, remove the herbs, and add in your mushrooms. Season to your liking and serve with pasta or mashed potatoes. Enjoy!
Let's make these super crispy rosemary garlic roast potatoes. Today I'm going to be using these baby potatoes. Look at how cute they are. They're just miniature versions of normal potatoes, so I think normal ones would work just fine for this recipe. I'm going to be chopping my potatoes into bite-sized pieces so that later I can just pop them in my mouth and eat them like popcorn. In a pot of boiling hot water, I'm going to add a lot of salt and then add my potatoes. This way you're creating an osmotic gradient so that the moisture is drawn out of the potatoes and you're seasoning them just the slightest bit from the inside. Once they're cooked and pokeable, drain the water and pour over the rosemary garlic oil. This video is getting a little bit long, so I put how to make this rosemary garlic oil in a separate video. Once your potatoes are all thoroughly covered in that rosemary garlic oil, spread them out on a baking tray and bake them at 200 degrees Celsius. Look at how amazing they look. I promise you, these are crazy good and super crispy.
If you're still spending $2 to $3 on protein bars at the grocery store, you need to watch this. Homemade protein bars. And it's super easy. We're going to start with some almond butter, or actually any nut butter that you like. Then add some honey. I'm going to put exact measurements in the comments. Mix that all together. Some vanilla paste or extract, some cinnamon, and protein powder. Mix that all together until it forms a dough. You can add coconut oil if you want. Mine came together pretty well, so I didn't need to. Added some cocoa powder to get like a marbling effect. Topped it with some chocolate chips and shredded coconut. You could go crazy with the toppings if you'd like. Pop it in the fridge overnight and look at that. Homemade protein bars. No additives, artificial flavors, colorings, all homemade.
Chicken fried steak today. Cube steaks, salt and pepper both sides, some garlic powder too. Dry ingredients, about 2 cups of flour, spoonful of cornstarch, boom. 1 chicken bouillon, boom. Break it up, crumble it up, get it in the flour. Steak seasoning, get it in there. Garlic powder, a lot of black pepper. Whisk it up. 1.5 cups of buttermilk, 1 egg, hot sauce, boom. Mix it up. Bacon, get it going. Press it in. Flip, press, wash. In. Let the seasons get in there. Repeat. Bacon out. Add oil. Ready. 4 minutes each side. Don't mess with it. Flip. Let it wait in the oven at 250. Get rid of some. Add some seasoned flour. Keep whisking. Slowly add 2 cups of milk. Keep whisking. Taste it. Add salt and pepper as needed. Pour over your gravy.
Y'all, I'm about to show you how to make a seafood baked potato. Let's go. Turn your heat on medium high and just throw your 2 teaspoons of butter from 4 feet away. Throw a pound of fresh shrimp on that pan right there. You have some of my seasoning? No better time to use it. Tablespoon of parsley. Just a couple of dashes. Pepper to taste. Salt to taste. Go ahead and throw you some beautiful green onion in there, y'all. A little garlic powder up in there, y'all. Y'all, I'm about to for real change your life with this recipe. In a separate pot, 2 tablespoons of butter. Whisk in 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Add 1 cup of milk, y'all, and go ahead and whisk that together real well. Add 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese. Pepper to taste. Go with salt to taste. About 3 minutes in, we're pretty good. All right, this big potato took about 10 minutes in the microwave. Let's get started. Add your butter. And you go ahead and add your cheese sauce, okay? Don't be stingy. And go ahead and add your grilled shrimp, okay? Sour cream and chives. Check out my New Orleans style seafood potato, y'all.
This is the French onion soup of my dreams, and it will be yours too once you make it. First, you want to cut about 7 onions in half, and then in lengthwise, about 9 cups. Then you're going to separate them, add 2 tablespoons of butter to a medium-high heat pot with 4 tablespoons of olive oil and all your onions. You want to caramelize them, so let it sit for 5 minutes, mix, let it sit, and do that until it caramelized. Then you're going to add garlic, mix that up, and add 2 tablespoons of flour. Then you're going to mix that for about 3 minutes on medium heat to get that taste out, and then half cup of dry white wine, get the alcohol out, cook it for about 3 minutes, and then you want to add stock, preferably beef stock, but you could use vegetable, beef, or chicken. Add your spices, I'll write which ones, and then you want to let it simmer for about 30 minutes. I also made some baguettes. I toasted it for 350 for 10 minutes. Then you want to add soup, baguettes, cheese. I use Gruyere and mozzarella. Then you would put it under the broiler until it broils, and then this is how it comes out.
You ready to make your family super happy? This is a crowd pleaser. If you want the written recipe, be sure to follow me on Facebook at Low Carb Living with Kate Higdon. You'll find many of my other recipes there too. So in a bowl, I added 1 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese to 8 ounces of cream cheese. Add half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon pepper, 1 teaspoon onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and then mix together. Spray a 9x13 pan and add a bag of frozen cauliflower rice. Add the cheese mixture into halved chicken breast, then wrap with 2 slices of bacon and place in the pan. Sprinkle generously, for real, with everything but the bagel seasoning. So good. We're gonna bake this for 40 minutes in a 375-degree oven. If you like this, be sure to like and follow for more. Lots of more recipes to come soon.